Never seen a lame man walk, never heard a dumb man talk, never seen a blind man see. I promise you a change his name. Never seen a cancer dead, never seen all the poor get fed, never seen a prisoner set free. I promise you a change his name. Broken heart made whole. Never seen an orphan find a home. Never seen the weak find the strength. I promise you I'll change his name.
Hey everybody! It is time. It is time. Your boys are back in town. Just the two of us. We can make it if we try. Just the two of us. It's you and I. Big C, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm great. I'm hoping people get to see this podcast because me and you are not having fun with technology this morning or this afternoon. It's afternoon.
Yeah.
I don't know what time it is. We're struggling through the day. I've had to call my wife in like 3 times to fix the issues. We started this off without Travis recording.
Yeah.
We're sorry.
I haven't called anybody by the wrong name yet.
Yeah,
so I'm doing pretty good. I'm doing pretty good so far.
Poor Landon Jackson.
Yeah.
Poor
By another Razorback player's name. I'm an idiot.
And I just laughed through the entire thing.
And I didn't edit it out. I could have edited it out. Like I had all the power. I could have went back and made myself look smart.
Right.
But I didn't, Clint. I didn't. So what makes me dumber? The fact that I did that I called Landon Jackson. I couldn't think of his name at first. And then when I did think of his name, I called him Landon Rogers, who's like a scout team wide receiver. Or the fact that I could have edited that out, but I didn't.
Let me ask you a question. Is this the first time you thought about editing it out?
No, I thought about it that night. No.
Okay. No. I
was like, no, I'm going to be real. I'm going to be real.
Let us see it. Let them see us warts and all. That's
right. Warts and all. Flaws, everything. Because we got them. I know it's hard to believe, folks. But anyway.
You know what I started doing this afternoon? Now, we're a little bit before Thanksgiving. I'm a firm believer in not decorating the thing for Christmas till after Thanksgiving.
Amen, brother.
But I started a little bit early. I started earlier this week because number one, I'm on vacation this week.
Oh.
Then number two, I have my son. So it's one of them things like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and do it a little bit early.
Make him think you're like a real dad, make
him think like I'm the cool. Which I tell you, I bought a flamethrower, and the kid is having a blast with the flamethrower.
Hey, Dad, I'm bored. Just go play with the flamethrower, kid.
Yeah. Well, we bought a new house, and it's got like it's got an awesome fire pit. Okay. And so I'd done like a little thing, and I didn't have the flamethrower, so I was just trying to light stuff on fire. And then I was pouring. I had the gas can, and then I'd run away like the gas, like just a little bit and run away. And it wasn't, it's hard to get it going. So I'm like, you know what? I had a buddy, he had one of the flamethrowers. It attaches to a propane tank. And man, it was just a notch of fun. And so I've been doing that. So yeah, we've been playing with a flamethrower. And so I was like, dude, and I don't get how my dad does it. He makes it look so easy. Like he does this gigantic Christmas display every year. It's just one old man with a fake knee that goes around and does all this.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there trying to figure it out. I'm like, I don't how do you make the power go from here to here? And then I'm like, so I've got like some lights ran down my fence row, and then I've just given up on lights.
Yeah, the adulting stuff is still
it's not
still hard.
It's very much fun right now.
We've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, too long.
So difficult. or should have been doing it more.
But, it's like our parents are just now at that age where, it's like, okay, I'm making the decisions now.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, when did I become the adult in the room?
Yeah.
It's like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
And who allowed me to be the adult in the room?
Yeah. There you go.
But yeah, so.
Well. Well, Clint, we've had some great interviews the last few weeks.
We have, but we ain't actually had to get creative at all.
Man. We just, we had Luke Jones,
right?
Pooh Paul. We had Landon Jackson. We had, just some great interviews, some great guys. Just a great time interviewing them, man. If you hadn't gone back and watched any of those, man, go back and watch them. Landon Jackson talking about his dealing with alopecia was golden. It
really was.
Luke Jones was just a great interview, a lot of fun.
The adversity that he, because man, you go up there, you're used to being the man.
Mm-hmm.
Man won 4 state championships at Pulaski Academy, which means he was playing for the varsity in 9th grade.
Yes.
If you can't do the math on that one.
Yeah.
So he probably a 4-year starter at Pulaski Academy on the offensive line. To the fight he's had to go through just to get on the field at Arkansas.
Well, and like we talked about going into his senior year, they tried to give that left tackle position to every other guy on the line besides him. They were like, yeah, we're putting Luke Jones there, but we're going to try out St. John. We're going to try out, Crawford. We're going to try out, Emmanuel. We're going to try out, Henderson. We're going to try out all these other guys there, Limmer, all these other guys.
Yeah.
And the one consistency there was the whole time was Luke Jones. And Clint, I don't know if you noticed, but he played a well of a game Saturday against Ole Miss.
He did. And, and I think me and you have let Razorback fans down. I really do. I think me and you both, we let everyone down.
We let them all down?
We let them all. You don't even know how we let them down, do you? That's how selfish you are, John.
I'm that selfish.
You're that selfish.
Yeah.
But no. But you know what? We could have been the first one to say, hey, COVID year, buddy. COVID year.
That's right.
Come back, because he could come back for another year. And no, I would never want to try to influence a kid.
Since the interview, I've messaged him. I've thrown something in there. Don't worry.
Okay, good. No, but I'm
working behind the scenes. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Well,
I'm working behind the scenes.
I don't know how much influence we have.
Probably not much, but still.
But hey, but no, he's going to make the best decision for him and his and Luke Jones' girlfriend. For those of you that's not keeping up, and I know I don't keep up, I will not watch a game. But the Arkansas Razorback women's soccer team on to the Elite Eight.
Now,
in penalty kicks.
Yeah.
So
now, I would want to play. She's got a messed up ACL.
But the entire team just she's pulling for those.
She's for excited for them, sure, yeah.
So yeah, and so
yeah,
that is the most in-depth women's soccer.
That's all we got. That's all we got.
That's all we got. The Elite Eight won on penalty kicks.
And apparently, Qatar is not the destination place everybody thought it was. Just saying.
What? Huh?
Yeah. Just saying. Okay. Have you not heard about the World Cup and stuff with Qatar?
No.
Yeah. Apparently they're like putting them up in like putting the soccer teams up in like tents and then like one of the sponsors for the World Cup is like a beer company, but they're not letting them sell beer because it's a Muslim country. And like it's horrible, man. Like they're not letting, and then like a lot of media people, there was some European media, I forget where they're from, Danish or Denmark or somewhere like that. they were there filming a story about how bad things were in Qatar, and like people showed up and like threatened to break their camera and told them that they couldn't record. Like it's wild, man. It's, if you hadn't checked it out, check out stories on it. It's
it sounds like
not for the soccer part, but for the crazy Qatar stuff.
Yeah, I believe it. I do. I believe it.
So last week, Clint, we haven't been on here to talk about games, and there's been a lot happen, right? I mean, we talked about them with the players we interviewed a little bit, but pretty much since the last time you and I were just on here covering the games, we had the loss to Liberty, which thankfully we had Luke Jones after that, because that would have been a tough one to sit here and talk about.
Yeah.
And then we had the loss, which was a much better game, especially by our defense, to LSU. And then, of course, now we had the game against Ole Miss, which was a much better game. And I got a text from Baseball Bo this morning, and I think he had just listened to the Landon Jackson interview, and he said, Travis, way to call it on the Ole Miss game. He said you asked Landon to put a sad face on Lane Kiffin, that's fun to see, and we got to see that, so that was good.
We did get to see it. He was.
That's right.
I think the fans at one point started chanting Auburn at him.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. It was crazy. But before we talk about those games, we need to go back. We haven't done this in a while. There's a couple that are out there that we need to discuss. Folks, we need to talk about our holy shnikes moments. And Clint, they've done it again.
Y'all, come on.
They can't act right. They just can't act right.
No, y'all can't.
It's like that dude from it's like the dude from that movie Life can't get right. Okay. They can't get right. The fans can't get right, Clint. They keep doing stupid crap. Fans are stupid.
They are. I've been saying it for years. But guys, you can't steal the opposing team one of their players' helmets.
Still in a helmet,
man. Come on. It was probably the same guy that was mooning the Kentucky guy while he was shooting a free throw. But no, guys, it's a bad look. I mean, I know y'all think it's funny. You think it's funny, but y'all gonna keep going. They're gonna quit selling beer at the stadium. That's what's gonna happen. Y'all gonna have to sneak in your flask like it was back in the old times for you drinking.
If you're really bad, they're gonna go back to Pepsi.
You're going back to Pepsi. So y'all need to knock it off. Get it off. They're gonna bring Jeff Long back.
That's right. But seriously, what makes you think you're gonna get away with that? In a time when everyone has a video recorder in your pocket.
Yeah. It's on Saturday down south.
And Instagram.
Yeah.
What makes you think you're going to get away with running off with an Ole Miss helmet? I mean, that's so stupid.
Yeah, and it's just it's not a good look for us. So stop it. Now, it's not just here. I tagged you with this on Facebook. I'm not sure if you got a chance to watch it.
I watched it, yeah.
Did you see that security guard lay a lick? That is the –
I know.
Ron Urlacher get a hit that pure. I mean, it was just –
these people that are rushing the field, look, folks, it's not going to end well for you. It's not. It's not going to end well for you when you rush the field by yourself, okay, when you go to streak the field.
Right.
Protesting, whatever you're doing. There's other ways to do it. Okay. There's other ways to do it. But that security guard lit that thing up.
Yeah. I don't know what he was protesting or what he was doing. I just watched the hit. I mean, dadgum.
Well, here's the deal. No one's ever gonna know what they were protesting.
No.
They're just gonna know they got jacked up, man.
He could have been protesting for the right reasons, but no one's going to talk about it.
Yeah.
He just like, man, he got laid out.
In fact, he got hit so hard that even when he's showing that video to his grandkids, he's not going to be able to remember what he was protesting because he got a concussion, homeboy. They got lit. If you don't know what we're talking about, was it USC and
UCLA.
Yeah.
Um,
and they're running down the sideline, and the security guard just jacked them, just form tackled them right into the bench. And it was beautiful. It was awesome. It was almost as good as the Baker Mayfield tackle in Fayetteville. Not quite that good.
It was pretty good.
Yeah.
It was pretty good.
Now, Clint, let's before we talk about those three games a little bit, of course, we'll talk mostly about the Ole Miss game. Let's talk, well, first of all, I got to commend you because, folks, if you're not following us on social media, every now and then we have some good stuff on there for you to see. And Clint on Saturday put on our Facebook, I would like to go ahead and congratulate Rocket Sanders on co-offensive player of the week in the SEC.
I knew they're not going to give it to a Razorback.
One of the first comments, Mike Floyd said, yeah, I might as well put Spencer Rattler in there now too.
Well,
and the awards came out today, and it's Rocket Sanders and Spencer Rattler. So Clint and our buddy Mike Floyd, y'all got it exactly right.
Well, they both had wells of games.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when you throw 6 touchdown passes against the team that was supposed to walk into the playoffs, that's big. Then again, to rush for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, including have one that was called back.
50-yarder, yeah.
It was a good call. The call was a good call.
And a couple good receptions, yeah.
There were 3 touchdowns called back, and every one of them was a good call.
Yeah, yeah.
Because on that second one for Ole Miss, I mean, Zach Williams got tackled.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. And then, Hazelwood was holding.
Yeah.
So, I mean, none of them were bad calls. So he ran the end zone 4 times. Then plus he had, 5 receptions?
Something like that.
Everything he had. I mean, but you know what Spencer Rattler does. I mean, I was being facetious when I said that because I didn't realize what Spencer Rattler had done.
Yeah, we didn't know. Yeah, we didn't realize.
I knew that South Carolina was beating Tennessee.
Yeah.
And man, speaking of Tennessee, you got to hurt for Hendon Hooker.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's tough.
I mean,
that's tough. He's out for the year, in case you don't know.
Towards ACL. I think this might be his COVID year.
Yeah, maybe so.
I think it is because he's like 24, 25 years old.
Yeah.
So it's
okay. So
sorry, I didn't mean to bring it down. Bring it down.
So, as you know, in case you've forgotten, we like to do a player of the game. But we don't do the obvious, okay? So in this game, the obvious would be, Rocket Sanders or Drew Sanders, who also got SEC Player of the Week. Another obvious might be KJ because, coming back and everything. Although, I mean, his stats wasn't amazing. He just did a great job leading. But no, we like to dig a little deeper and find some others. So, Clint, who's your player of the game?
The law office of Wagner and Limmer. The right side of the offensive line, they dominated. It was really, I wanted to give it to Bo Limmer, but as I was watching Wagner too, I was like, dadgum. Go ahead.
That week off against LSU helped KJ and Wagner so much.
They did, and you kind of. I'm gonna get through this, but then let's get back to a healthy KJ. What a difference he makes, and Wagner too. He's got that C on his chest for a reason.
Yeah,
and he's a starter for a reason, and you saw why. Limmer just played a game.
He was crushing folks.
He's crushing folks, and they was one where I think McElroy, Rogers was pointing out the combo block that Limmer and him had. How they started on one guy, and the Limmer went to the next guy, and then they saw Rocket bust it. So that's my player of the game. And Travis, how much who did you have?
Well, my player of the game is really just also somebody that just the last couple games, because that's all we've seen him. But Quincy McAdoo has made a huge difference on this defense.
Yes.
Like, not only he might have been up, in the previous game where he had the interception and all that. I mean, that was big, block punt. But in the game Saturday, he was around the ball all the time. And as a corner, that's pretty amazing. When they broke on those long runs, who was on their heels on every one of them?
Oh, McAdoo.
And he was coming from across the field most of the time. He was just putting effort out. In fact, and there's a couple he caught him. He had 7 tackles and 1 sack. He, one in the press conference today, they were talking about the bubble screen where he blew up his blocker and then made the tackle. The guy's been playing Division I corner for like 2 games and 3 weeks of practice, 4 weeks of practice, and he's doing what he's doing out there. He's already our best tackler in the defensive backfield. He's arguably our fastest guy back there. And he's putting in what I'm seeing on the field. He's putting in the most effort on the field.
I wanted to say something about the 2 guys that are back there that are giving maximum effort every play is him and Hudson Clark.
Yeah.
And people love to hate on Hudson Clark, but
yeah,
there's not a player back there, maybe other than McAdoo, that plays harder than Hudson.
Yeah.
I just them 2 guys, I just wanted to point out their effort. And we got
Hudson had the physical attributes, the speed and the strength. McAdoo's not that much bigger than him, but McAdoo's, you could tell, got more strength.
Oh yeah, no, you can definitely tell McAdoo's he's a better athlete than Hudson. Yeah. It's not a fair comparison. I mean, Hudson was a walk-on, obviously, probably you would say under recruited. He's starting in a secondary for an SEC school, so he was under recruited. It is what it is. Yeah. McAdoo, blue chip recruit at wide receiver. And I'd messaged you, and I want to get to her other one here in a second, but I messaged you during the game, actually. Because we were all talking about how we didn't message during the game. I'm like, no, they're playing so good, I didn't want to jinx it.
Yeah.
But towards the end of the game, it was out of hand in the fourth quarter. Me and you started talking a little bit. Something what Quincy McAdoo has done is become rarer and rarer. You're not going to see it as much, and the reason why is the transfer portal. Mm-hmm. The other guy I want to bring up is Richard Sherman. When I think about this, because Richard Sherman went to Stanford. Mm-hmm. He started off a wide receiver, buried on the depth chart, moved to cornerback. You can argue one of the greatest cornerbacks of all time, top 2 or 3. In the discussion for the GOAT. Where kids just now these days, they want to play wide receiver and you want to move them, they can say, no, I'm going to go play it. Yeah. I'm going to leave Stanford. Matter of fact, I'm going to go to Cal and I'm going to play for a rival.
Well, what's even more impressive is not only that, but Quincy volunteered to move.
Yeah, and for sure. But I think you're going to see less and less of it.
You're rarely going to see that. You're rarely going to see a kid volunteer to move because of the transfer portal. I think what I'm saying is you're right. Because of the transfer portal, they're rarely going to volunteer to move, let alone if a coach asks them to move, they're going to be less likely to do it because they can transfer out. And, of course, Pittman in his press conference today said, he said Quincy's talking about wanting to play both ways some. So we'll see if he gets to do that. That's something.
He does. I mean, as much as he wants to be a receiver, I think he needs to focus on being a corner.
He's going to make more money as a corner than he would at receiver.
Yeah, he what he's done is impressive. He's I don't want to jinx the kid, but the sky looks to be the limit for him at cornerback. It really does, and I've been nothing but impressed.
We normally don't talk about this, but he's one I would definitely like to have on the podcast. I've reached out to him, but haven't got a response.
Yeah,
but
he's
one, and maybe we could talk him into sticking at corner.
Speaking of guys you've begged to have on the podcast, you want to tell us about the next one?
No, it's your idea. You do it.
Well, I think, I almost switched my player of the game. I want to give the first ever Big C, Bigger T. We've never done it before, may never do it again.
That's right.
But we'll probably forget we did it. Let's just be honest. We're getting some-timers and any-timers. I walk into a room sometime and goes, why do I walk into this room?
That's right.
I don't. But the Big C, Bigger T Lifetime Achievement Award, bumper pool.
Yeah.
What a. I don't know. I like to call people G's. What a G. He's a G. You can tell Bumper Pool is that guy you want to get in the foxhole with. I guess he's playing with 2 bad hips, a bad back.
Yeah.
And he's done all this and been out there giving it his all every week. You still see him all over the field.
And folks, one of the reasons we're talking about this, and it'll be out, I'm sure. It's already out. We're recording this on Monday afternoon. But Coach Pittman in his press conference today, he said there's a possibility that Bumpers played his last game as a Razorback. Now, he doesn't know that for sure, but he's beat up pretty bad, and I'm sure the thought now becomes, he's helped his team get bowl eligible. Now if he wants to have a pro career, what does he do? What medically does he do to try to get ready for? Because he's a guy that's going to have to go to the combine. He's going to have to go, do all those things probably. So he really needs to rest his body and get ready for all that. And playing against Missouri right now, if you saw the game Saturday, Pooh Paul is getting a lot of playing time.
Yeah, he's playing every bit as much, if not more. I would say he's probably playing more than Bumper.
In fact, the last few weeks, Bumper hadn't played hardly any third downs.
Yeah.
They've had Pooh Paul out there on obvious passing downs. So I think that's one of the reasons we want to mention this. And you're right, Clint. I mean, Grant Morgan was an amazing guy too. And we could have said this, given him this award also.
Right, but we didn't think about it. So
we didn't think about it. And Bumper is leaving the all-time leader in tackles.
Right. He is. I mean, Tony Bua had the record. And I'll never forget. There's two things I'm always going to remember about Bumper Pool. He was the guy that signaled, no, Razorback football's back to me. Because we had been through the Chad Morris years, back-to-back 2-10 seasons. I hadn't won an SEC game in so long. Okay, we're going to play football, but it's going to be an all-SEC schedule. You're like, okay, who are they going to give us? And you were hoping like they would do, like make it even, like give us Vandy and maybe Florida. And then they go, okay, we're going to give Arkansas, we're going to give you Georgia, who was the number 1 team in the country, and we're going to give you Florida.
Yeah.
Which everybody's like, it was unfair, but the team really is like, okay, the team was excited about it. So I remember their quarterback, which I think he since transferred to Temple. But I remember he scrambled on the sideline and he was on a run, and Bumper Pool laid him out. Yeah. It was one of the best hits I'd ever seen. And it was one of them deals where it was like, I said, number one, Bumper Pool, I think, ruined that man's career. I think from that on, I mean, he was hearing football footsteps from then on. And he just never was. And then Stetson Bennett took over, and the rest is history there. But man, and then I remember watching the Mississippi State game the next week where we actually broke the losing streak.
Yeah.
I remember, I mean, Bumper Pool's everywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, he was everywhere. I mean, you just looked. I think he had like 20 tackles that game.
Yeah.
I mean, just that. But to me, when I think about Arkansas football being back, I'll just never forget that. That Bumper Pool, that hit that he put on, I believe Mitchell. I'm forgetting the guy's name, but I mean, he laid him out. I mean, it was one of the hardest hits, and that kid never was. And then I'll also always remember the Mississippi State game, seeing him like, man, Bumper's just all over the place.
Well, the way his, they talked about it a lot Saturday, but the way his family's so connected to the program, his sister works for the program, his brother was an equipment guy for the program, he's Arkansas football, and he's from, North Texas, which is where we've gotten so many great players. I mean, so not only has he been so much on the field, but even off the field, he's just a Razorback, man. He's a Razorback, and he's not from Arkansas, but he's just so yeah, lots of kudos to him. I'm going to hate not seeing him out there. There's something when you see that number 10 out there that just gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling, thinking, okay, this defense is in control. But Clint, I'm starting to feel that way about Pooh Paul too.
No, I am too. And you can just tell. And that's the thing is, I think you've got Pooh Paul and you got McAdoo over there. You've got two cornerstones you can build that defense around. And then I think, with what we're going to have coming back, where you see.
Well, like we talked about the other day, you got Landon Jackson and Ball.
Campbell, yeah.
Up front. I mean, that's you say you want to be strong up the middle on defense. Well, of course, McAdoo's a corner, I guess, but I mean, that's some hinged players, man. That's some good core players to build a defense around. When you got a McAdoo that you're going to, give him a year of practicing corner, and you're going to be able to put him on the best receiver you play against every week.
I mean, yeah, you got a chance to have McAdoo Island over there. I mean, you really do.
You got Pooh Paul, who you're going to be able to mirror the best quarterbacks in the SEC because he's athletic enough and smart enough to do that. And then you got Ball and all those other guys, Landon Jackson putting the pressure on defense, on the defensive line. I mean, you got to feel good about the defense. And this is the first time in a long time where you can say we got a good, I guess we've had a good core with Catalan, but of course, Catalan's been injuries.
He's been injured a lot. But if you look at when the Razorback defense changed, it was halftime of Liberty.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. At halftime against Liberty, the defense suddenly is like it clicked and it coincides with the appearance of Quincy McAdoo.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not a coincidence that I think is going unnoticed. It may not be talked about a lot, but I think since McAdoo showed up, it's been different.
Yeah. Well, so let's talk about that Ole Miss game. Of course, the big thing with it was we saw a KJ at 100%, or not at 100%, but a lot closer to 100%.
Yeah.
What he had been before. I think that was the big problem against Liberty. We didn't really – I sort of hinted at it when we talked to Luke a little bit, and I hinted at it a little bit with Landon. But I think in that Liberty game, when you got two guys that are your leaders or your captains like KJ and Bumper, and in that Liberty game, both of them were not in that game. They were hurting. You're just watching on TV. You looked into their eyes. KJ was – you look in his eyes in that game and you look in his eyes against Ole Miss at the beginning of the game, and it's a different look, okay? Yeah. Liberty, he wasn't all there. You could tell he was hurting, and those are the type of leaders. They're not necessarily the rah-rah, I'm going to fire you up with a great speech, Grant Morgan style leaders. they're the, hey boys, watch what I do, because I'm going to give maximum effort, and let's lock arms and give maximum effort together type of guys.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do that against Liberty, I don't think. And I think, Clint, I really think, just to be honest with you, I think we were taking Liberty lightly.
I think, yeah.
I'm not going to ask that when we interview players, because they're not going to admit to it. So why not ask? Why ask it? And they shouldn't admit to it. But the truth is, there's times you go into games because you're used to having games. All through football, you have games where you play teams that are weaker at times.
Right.
And so you go into those games thinking, okay, we're going to be able to coast through this one. And I think when they got against Liberty, they were thinking they were going to coast. That's what Pittman was seeing on Friday before the game. He said he was seeing. That's what, in breakfast the morning of the game, he said he was seeing. That's what ended up on the field. And that's why it would look so disjointed and everything looked bad, because they're just minds wasn't into it. And when your leaders aren't into it, the good teams, their leaders, okay, guys, we're not into this. Gather around me, let's go. And when your leaders aren't, and Dalton Wagner's over there can barely stand up because his back was hurting him so bad.
Yeah.
So all those things together is what made Liberty happen. Now, what we saw with the Ole Miss game was the total opposite of that. Those guys were back, and they were, KJ's like, come on, boys, let's go. Ride my coattail, because I'm going to lead us to the promised land.
Yeah.
And that's
I think we're sitting here at 6-5 right now. And I agree with everything you just said. I mean, 100%, I couldn't have said it better myself. We lost the Texas A&M game. We shouldn't have lost that game. We just shouldn't have. We were better than A&M. We lost the Liberty game, even with KJ unhealthy. It's a game we shouldn't have lost. And then LSU, and I think even Mississippi State to a degree, you have a healthy KJ Jefferson, it's a different ball game. Mm-hmm. Both of them are different. KJ is what stirs that drink. Alabama's Alabama. Alabama still, they're better than us.
Yeah.
They're the only team that I feel like we've played all year that was significantly better than us. Mm-hmm. You lost 2 games you shouldn't, and you lost 2 games with an unhealthy KJ Jefferson.
Yeah.
And then you lost to Alabama. You play football long enough, you're going to lose a couple of them games you shouldn't.
Yeah.
It's the reality of playing the game. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the break don't go your way, and it goes the other guy's way, and it sucks. It happens. We saw the difference, with Ole Miss. Like, KJ was back, KJ was healthy. They started stacking the box to stop the run, and then KJ torched them. Mm. That second touchdown pass he threw to Matt Landers, where he was just.
Hey, and how about Matt Landers?
Oh, never was the guy before. Wasn't the guy at Toledo.
Georgia, Toledo. But yeah. He looks good, man.
Hazelwood
he looks like a pro to me. I mean, he's got some inconsistencies catching the ball.
Yeah,
there'll be times when he'll miss the easy one, and that was the knock on him. That was the knock on him at Georgia. But if he can ever get past that, man, he's got the ability to do whatever he wants to do. And how about our receivers as a whole? I mean, Ketron Jackson. Hazelwood's looking good.
Bryce Stevens, you're seeing more and more of him.
Yeah.
He's part of the reason that, the people say Warren Thompson quit the team, because he's the number 4 guy to the number 5 guy, because Bryce beat him out.
Yeah.
Which I'm also going to do that to the coaching staff is there's there's competition in the season. Sometimes you get beat out.
That's right.
And it happened to Warren, happened to Hornsby, and then Hornsby, of course, won it back.
Yeah.
So it was
also today, just to put that out, you just mentioned Warren Thompson. All Pittman said about him was, or the other day, all Pittman said about him was he quit the team. We don't know why he quit. But then today, James Joyner also announced that he was going in the transfer portal. I think when you see the play that DeBinion's getting, that Rocket's going to have at least another year. They have a freshman, I think, from Florida, maybe.
They've got a couple.
They got a guy they're recruiting that they really high on, that they think can be kind of an every down back. That is going to be coming in next year. Whether the guy from Benton, he's gone back on his commitment now, so we'll see what he decides to do. But he's very similar to Joyner, just probably a little better.
Well,
you can see why Joyner. I think Joyner sees the writing on the wall. And
there was another running back that I think he ended up at Texas Southern or somewhere like that. I can't remember. But one of the smaller Texas school, maybe Stephen F. Austin, but he was a running back. He's like, Coach, look, I can see the depth chart.
Yeah.
See what it is. You got Rocket coming back, and like I told you, next year's probably gonna be Rocket's last year.
Yeah.
If you're a Rocket, I see no upside to coming back for your senior season if next year's even close to this one.
Yeah.
AJ Green, you got to hope he's coming back.
Yeah.
Because he's the number 2 guy, getting the second most carries. Said Dubinion. I knew I was butchered his name. You got him, and so them 3, hypothetically speaking, and then you got to hope that Dominic Johnson may recover. So you're talking about there's a good likelihood you're 5th on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Just behind them 4 guys. So you can see why that's the type of kid the portal's built for.
Speaking of the portal, next Monday, and Pittman talked about that in his press conference today. Next Monday is going to be crazy day.
Yeah.
Because that's when the portal opens. And that's when players are going to be discussing whether they're going to go pro or not with the coaches and probably announcing all that. That's going to be a wild one.
Well, they're talking about a fire sale at Texas A&M. They really are. They're saying to keep an eye out. Huh?
And Auburn.
So
that's some highly rated recruits from both of those schools that'll be in the transfer portal.
But here's what's crazy now. Here's what the portal's changed. It's changed the head coaching market too, to a degree to me. Because look what USC's done. USC, and I don't think we got time to get into it, but they got a good shot at making the playoffs. And what they did was they hired Oklahoma's coach and brought his 5-star quarterback with him.
Yeah.
So whoever hires Deion Sanders, for example, is going to get his son, which was a higher 4-star quarterback.
Yeah.
Is going to transfer from Jackson State. I did read today that Deion is currently negotiating with 2 schools.
Really?
Yeah, and I read this on Saturday Down South, so that's where I always try to give the credit. But that he is talking to Colorado and USF.
Really?
That he's talking to those 2 schools, Southern
I
Florida.
can see him at USF.
Yeah, or what cover are they in USA?
I'm not sure.
They're either in the AAC
you know where Lane was.
No, Lane was at Florida Atlantic.
That's right, Florida Atlantic.
Florida Atlantic, yeah. He was a owl, which he left Boca for beautiful Mississippi.
Well, have you heard
Oxford?
Well, and this is other news that this doesn't have to do with what we were just talking about, but this made me think about it.
It's our podcast. We talk about what we want.
Small Florida schools. Malachi Singleton, our Razorback quarterback commitment for next year.
Yeah.
Have you heard that he's wavering?
I have not.
He's made 2 visits to UCF.
Oh, freaking Gus.
Apparently he's I think he's from Florida or something and has a relationship with folks down there or something.
Well,
so there's some worry that he's gonna
flip.
He's gonna flip.
Any may. You never.
But that really makes me think Arkansas will be in the portal for a quarterback.
Oh no, they're going to be, because I would be. I think everyone will be surprised if Malik Hornsby's back.
Yeah,
I think he's going to stick through the season. But I think it would be a shocker.
Yeah,
if Malik Hornsby was on the roster next year. So it is, and so that definitely there's going to be a lack of depth there. For sure.
Well, there already is a lack of depth there. You think about it. We have 3 main quarterbacks. I think there's a walk-on.
Yeah.
That's like a scout teamer, but we have,
Wouldn't you say about every SEC school is this way now?
Probably so, yeah.
You can't stockpile talent anymore. No. That's the portal. It's not, the days of guys waiting till their junior year to get a shot to start. So, it's probably done.
Yeah. So this week, Black Friday, we play Missouri. How you feeling about this game?
I feel like Arkansas is by far the better football team. It just you are better than Missouri. You should win this game. You're at a 5.5-point favorite. Now, if Arkansas comes into it like we're bowl eligible, we really don't care. Missouri will win. But I also think you've got plenty of old Missouri players as coaches. You've got Missouri's old head coach. I think this defense is going to be fired up for Coach Oldham. Arkansas has never won in Columbia.
Wow.
It's a trophy game.
We haven't won any of those trophies this year.
We haven't won any of the trophies. They're going to know that trophy case is going to be empty if you don't get this one. Wow. And the difference in bowl games at 7-5 and 6-6 is just different. You're probably going to get yourself out of the Las Vegas Bowl. You're going to get yourself out of the Birmingham Bowl. You're probably going to be somewhere like Music City, Gator, maybe Liberty, which I'm hoping, low-key, I'm hoping for Liberty Bowl because I'd be able to go to that one.
Well, one of the rumors is that Liberty is wanting Arkansas and Oklahoma.
That would be a good Liberty Bowl. That would be.
That's one of the rumors I heard on Twitter or whatever, saw on Twitter.
Yeah, that'd be a good game. It really would.
Yeah, it'll be a future SEC preview. They could build it up as that. 2 teams that are going to be in the SEC together.
Yeah.
Future.
Now, on the Big 12, this is totally off subject. Did you have Kansas State versus TCU as the Big 12 championship game at the beginning?
Nuts?
Adrian Martinez. I'm starting to think Scott Frost was the problem at Nebraska. Because he's it was like Adrian Martinez, and this has nothing to do with anything, but Kansas State, he's basically had like a Felipe Franks effect.
Yeah.
Where bad Felipe was gone when he got to Arkansas.
Yeah.
He was a lot more consistent, and now you see the same thing with him, but that was, and I think a lot of people probably saw Georgia in the East, but I don't think a lot of people had LSU.
No one had LSU.
No one else. It's going to take
all the people they lost.
Yeah.
And new coaches. This was rebuilding year at best for them. And they're going to the daggum. Yeah, no, I don't think anyone did. I think, like you said, TCU may not have been too much of a surprise. A little bit, but
Okay, let me ask you this question. Let's say this out. USC one loss, their only loss is to Utah. They went out.
Yeah.
Beat whoever wins whoever in the Pac-12 championship game, they blow them out.
Yeah.
TCU runs the table. Michigan, Ohio State play. That's 2-3 right now. In this scenario, Georgia also runs the table. So Michigan, Ohio State, they win it goes to overtime. They win on a 2-point conversion. Ohio State wins on a 2-point conversion. Who are your 4 playoff teams? Because Georgia's in, Ohio State would be in. Yeah. You also got Clemson sitting there with 1 loss, 2 Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'd still say I think USC makes it, and I think you got to put TCU in it.
No, I think TCU, if they run the table, you've got to put them in.
You got to, yeah.
Yeah, you've got to, but I think the 3 would get in. But then do you put USC, who's a conference champion? Michigan didn't win their division, but look who Michigan's only lost was to Ohio State, and it was close.
Yeah, but it's the end of the season loss too. So
yeah.
I think it's those 4. I think it's Georgia, Ohio State, TCU, USC.
But then you still got Clemson sitting there. If there was ever a year that a 12-team playoff would make things a lot less complicated,
yeah,
it would be. Saban wants one after this season.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, because there's a lot of good teams. I think, and I already think the bowl system, as we know, it's pretty much dead.
Yeah, it's been killed.
The playoffs killed it. The opt-outs, and you had opt-outs before it happened. Yeah. I think you talked about it before. You remember Sean Andrews being the first one to really, you really see him opt out to get ready. And
I have a little bigger view of it. I think it's more than just that killed it. I think it was just a change in our society as a whole. You can't play the game for fun anymore. You can't have games as a reward anymore. Look at the All-Star games in the pro sports. When we were growing up, the Pro Bowl was, just to watch the players have fun in Hawaii,
Yeah.
We didn't, and they played hard, but, we didn't really care who won necessarily, besides, I guess there for a while they did, whoever won got to host the Super Bowl or whatever. But, the NFC got to host it or the AFC or whatever, but it was all just for fun. And you got to see, you got to see Troy Aikman throw to Jerry Rice, you got to see, Joe Montana throw to Michael Irvin, or, whatever, you got to see.
Now, like if you had like Tom Brady, if he loses, he ain't going to the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them don't even go to it anymore. And then
Aaron Rodgers don't go, it's like, no, I'm hurt.
And the ones that do go, people want them to go out there and beat their heads in, and the ones that do go are so scared of getting hurt that they don't even try hard. Players used to actually try hard. They may not try as hard as they would if it was anyway, I think just a change in the mentality has, and because the bowl games were a reward, man. A bowl game was a reward for having a great season, man. You went out, you had a great season. Now you get to go to this city. You get to learn about that city. They're going to treat you right. They're going to feed you good. They're going to, put you in a little contest and, and all this different stuff. And, the players get to live like kings for a couple of days, put you in a nicer hotel than you got normally on the road. It was a reward for them. You get your prize pack, your $400 worth of stuff, and that's what it was about. And nowadays, it's, what call it, being too much about the money or whatever else. That stuff doesn't matter anymore. And you can't do any game just as a reward game. It's a and you think about it, and I love the way Pittman's doing it. He saves his red shirts last game,
right,
so that they can practice. So he uses it for preparation for the next year.
right. And I listen. Me and you both listened to the press conference today. And he'd even talked about that last year and talked about and Chris Paul's one of the ones that it benefited. He goes, no, I'll save it, for the last game, and then if we get a bowl game, that way they can do it too.
Yeah.
And I think it goes, and that gives them something to practice for. Like they know you practice difference if you know there's a chance you're going to play.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I never practiced hard.
Yeah, that's right. It's good. Now, Clint, tell me, this week's Thanksgiving.
Right.
It's Thanksgiving. So, well, first of all, we need to talk about just real quick. Okay. Maui basketball tournament.
Oh yeah,
the Hogs play tonight against Louisville.
Who tipping about 45 minutes. We're recording this early, by the way.
Yeah, which they should beat. Louisville's terrible.
Yeah, they're not very good.
I mean, they've lost 3 games all by like 1 point, but the teams they played were terrible. Like one of the teams they played, I can't remember the name of them, but actually our buddy Mike Floyd went to the game. He happened to be in Louisville. They were playing them, and he said it was like some Catholic school from in Louisville, and he said Louisville was terrible. He said they were just pathetic, and so when you first saw the schedule, though, you're thinking, "Oh crap, we play Louisville first game. That's going to be a tough game." And it still may be. They have some, they're going to have some athletes, but, this is going to be a good bonding time. But, what we've seen from the team so far, of course, we don't know when Nick Smith's going to play. But when he does play, Clint, I'm afraid the guy is going to have to score 50 points and not miss any shots because he's got
expectations are high.
He's been preseason expectations for him are amazing. So he has no room for error. But so we don't know if he'll get to play or not. But I saw on Twitter and Instagram, Muss has the boys out surfing and all that. Oh, by the way, Brazil's dunk on South Dakota State guy. Did you see it?
No, I saw it. I watched the entire game. It is.
Oh, my goodness, what a dunk.
Yeah.
He had his hand halfway down the goal. I mean, it was – anyway.
I've been trying to sit here and find the Maui Invitational schedule, and that's what I've been sitting here. Because I don't remember who we have. If
you know how to spell Maui.
I put the silent Q in there.
I was using numbers and stuff.
There it is, Samsonite. I was way off.
Swan again.
Well, I went to a Facebook page thinking, I'd be like one of the first few posting.
Okay, so Texas Tech plays Creighton.
Oh, the field is incredible.
Louisville, Arkansas. Ohio State, San Diego State. Cincinnati, Arizona. We'll play the winner of Texas Tech and Creighton. And then we'll play the winner of the other bracket.
Yeah.
If we win. If we lose, we play the loser of that game.
Yeah, we play it. Yeah, we play tomorrow regardless. It just depends on when. So, man, it's a good field. It really is. Ohio State, San Diego State, Cincinnati, Arizona. Louisville on paper, you wouldn't have thought they'd have been this poor. I mean, it's just a good draw. Yeah. But the rest of this, there's a chance you go 0-3 in this thing and still have a great squad. Yeah.
Well, and the thing we're going to see from this team all year is they need to hit outside shots and they need to hit free throws. We're gonna be begging them to do that all year. Okay, that's going to be that's going to be the thing that we complain about, because that's just their weaknesses. They're going to make up for it on a lot of other ways, in athleticism and cutting to the basket, and all the other ways they can score, and defensively taking the ball away. They're going to make up for it, but those are the things that we're going to, as fans, people are going to complain about. Don't you think?
Oh no, I agree. And I think like last year, everybody kept saying, "What about KK? What about KK? What about KK?" I think this year, people's opinion is going to be KK Robinson.
Yeah.
And like they're struggling from three. They're struggling from three.
Yeah.
And then we're going to want to put in Pinion to kind of be the zone buster. But who knows? Once you earn your time, you earn your time.
Yeah.
So there's a reason why Musselman does what he does. Reason why Pittman does what he does. But
yeah,
it's both fun to watch, and I'm excited about being bowl eligible. I'm excited about watching the Maui Invitational. It is still, the football season hasn't exactly gone the way we wanted to. It's still a good time to be a Razorback fan.
That's right.
It's nice not being 2-10 anymore.
That's right.
It's nice not being the embarrassment that we were. The respectability's back at Arkansas, and we have Bumper Pool to thank for that.
That's right.
Amongst other guys, but you know what I'm saying. That's why he's the Lifetime Achievement Award from the Big C Bigger T podcast.
That's right. That's right.
We need to send him like a medallion or something and see. He'll probably get it like, what the crap?
Yeah. Yeah. We just write it on a piece of paper.
like give him a certificate, like you did good.
Yeah, good job.
The Great Goblins, like with the rainbow over it.
We'll send him a T-shirt too.
Yeah. T-shirt, keychain, maybe a sticker. I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Clint. Thanksgiving coming up Thursday. What are you looking forward to eating the most?
I'm going to sound weird. I'm really looking forward to green bean casserole.
You're a green bean casserole guy, huh?
Yeah, you did not see that one coming. Like I love green bean.
I did.
I love green bean casserole.
Really?
Yeah, and also I'm not a big pie guy either. Like I like pecan and pumpkin. Like I'm not a big apple pie fan.
Yeah.
It's just like
Is it taste or texture for you?
Texture. Yeah, texture. Yeah, I'm not a big pie guy.
Yeah, there's certain pies that I'm not a fan of because of texture.
Yeah.
I tell you, I've become a sweet potato pie fan.
See, I'm not. And this is so weird. It's funny because if you'd asked me 6 years ago, I'd have told you I didn't like sweet potatoes at all. Now, like they're like sweet potato fries, tots, the ones that get cooked all the way through. If you put a sweet potato in front of me, I wouldn't eat it. Not eat it.
Have you ever had a sweet potato pie?
I'm not going to. I'm an adult and I know I don't like it.
It's better than pumpkin.
Nope, I don't like it.
It's the same texture as pumpkin pie.
I don't like it. It doesn't matter what you tell me, Travis. I'm not going to try it. I'm not going to.
You're going to like it if you tried it. I promise.
Nope. I did. Like a child. Like, here comes the airplane. Like, nope.
Yeah. I'm going to hold you down and make you eat it. Make you use your jujitsu to get away from it.
Please don't.
No, because I'll end up in some kind of hole. You'll be choking me out.
Yeah, that's what I don't want to do.
And one of my goals in life is to never be rear naked choked. So,
well, now that I know that, I'm gonna have to sneak up behind you and like, I'm going, Clint. It was like, no, have to mark this on the book.
All right. So, last thing before we go.
All right.
Or before we beg people to like and share this podcast.
And subscribe too.
And subscribe. And comment on the social media stuff.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Clint, what are you thankful for?
Man, I'm thankful. I'm thankful for my friends and my family. And I'm also thankful for my mentors. The one thing I think you would say, that you've seen me grow up probably a lot the last 4 or 5 years. Wouldn't you say so? You didn't nod. You know so that if you agreed with me.
No, I agree with you.
No, I haven't seen any of that. But I think, part of it I did is I really started choosing the people I follow and want to emulate better. And I think that I'm thankful for my mentors. I'm thankful for the gentlemen out there. I'll go David Harrison, Tom Clark, also known as Dad. People like that have just made Danny Dring, people that have made profound influences in my life. And they give me advice and all that when I didn't deserve it. it was funny. I was having lunch with David the other day, and he's my boss, but I also consider him a mentor and a friend. But I told him, I said, yeah, you and my dad are the two men that I call, when things I don't really know how to handle a situation. He goes, well, you probably need to call me more.
Yeah.
It's like that, and that hit me. It's like, yeah, I go through stuff and don't always reach out, and people are willing to help and walk me through situations. And I don't see it because I don't think I'm worthy sometimes, but that there's people like that out there for me. Yeah. I'm thankful. How about yourself, Travis?
Well, man, I'm this is my first Thanksgiving and Christmas without my grandma. Okay. And my family on my mom's side, we were a nanny centric family. Okay. I mean, it was Thanksgiving, you go to nanny's house. Christmas, you go to nanny's house. Man, it's just straight to nanny's. And it was, even when she was in the nursing home last year, I still went up to her house. We took the food to her in the nursing home. We had a big meal. Me and my uncle and my aunt and some others cooked it up, and we all went down and ate with her and everything. So it's this will be the first time it's just me and my mom down here in South Arkansas. We'll be doing Thanksgiving together. So it's going to be different this year, but it makes me more thankful for family, not having some of that family around. Makes me thankful for that. And then I'm thankful for friends, because being a single guy, and not having a lot of family around, I depend on friends a lot. And so friends like you and others, just having, there's a lot of great people in my life, people in my church, people from my last church and then just lifelong friends friends that may not have been lifelong, maybe friends I've just met in the last few years, but people that I know I can talk to and that have my back. So thankful for those kind of people, and then just the blessings that God's given me, man. I don't deserve anything I have, and at all. I've done nothing to deserve it, and thankfully God is merciful and gracious, and it counts me worthy. So I appreciate it, and I'm thankful for this podcast. This is
and how me and you talked about it before. How cool is this? I mean, me and you, this just football season, we've interviewed Reed Bauer.
Oh yeah.
Luke Jones, Chris Poopaw, Jordan Dominic, Landon Jackson. I mean, and next week I'm going to go in and spoil it, unless you're hard no, but it's been confirmed, so I feel good about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Razorback pitching coach, legendary Dave Jordan.
That's right.
He's coached Stanek, you said?
Keuchel, Dallas Keuchel,
yeah.
And some others. Yeah, I mean he coached a lot of guys. I mean he was Razorback coach for 20-something years.
Yeah.
In 2 stints under DeBryan, and then came back under Van Horn.
Right.
So he coached under both of those legendary Razorback coaches, and in between he was in the pros.
Right.
So,
and I'm looking forward to asking him questions, because he did write a book. You were reading the book.
As soon as I get it in the mail, I'm gonna read it.
As soon as it gets in the mail, so he will read the book.
Yeah, Amazon is on its way.
Yeah, out for delivery, 5 stops away.
That's right. Yeah.
But no, I'm looking forward to it. Talk to him. Maybe some of the things we talked with about. I'm brain farting on his name. The catcher.
Michael Turner.
Michael Turner. I knew it was Michael. I couldn't think Turner. But Michael Turner.
Our first big interview was Michael Turner. That was.
Well, I don't know. I think Big O was their first big interview.
Big O. Sorry, Big O was our first.
But then Michael Turner was next. But I think we're looking forward to that. I'd like to, about the thoughts on calling a game as in college, whether maybe the differences in letting how that's done between the majors and the college game. So a lot of cool stuff to ask him about the book. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too. So folks, like, share, share, like, get on social media, interact with us. Look,
I figured out how to log into our Instagram now, so we can have some more fun there.
That's right. So you know, you get on there, tell us what you think, tell us where you agree with us, tell you where we disagree with us. Who would have been your player of the game? That's not so obvious player of the game last week. Tell us who you think that would be. Also, we still got t-shirts.
We do. Hit us up.
Those $20 a piece, $5 for shipping and handling. We'll get Clint has done a great job of getting those out to folks. And you know, hey, if you want that on your chest, you can have it.
Or faces on your chest.
That's right.
Christmas present.
That's right.
We're running a Black Friday special. It's $20 plus $5 shipping and handling.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. 0% off.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, it works for those, you know, those car lots say something about 0% and people get all excited about that. You know,
0% interest though.
Let's talk about 0%.
0% off.
Yeah. Yeah. We won't charge you any interest on those shirts. We'll just take the cash as it is. Okay. So anyway, thank y'all so much for listening. We're thankful for y'all. Talking about being thankful. We're thankful for the people that listen all the time. You know, our number one fan.
For you, Gabe. Gabe.
Michael McDaniel. You know, man, I got several guys out there that I know message me a lot.
Hometown Roofing.
That like to point out when I'm wrong. Yeah, thankful to Hometown Roofing, Bobby B, Mike Floyd, making so many things possible for us, and just believing in what we're doing here. Yeah. So God bless y'all. Have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, I didn't get to say my food.
What's your food?
Got to be the dressing.
Ooh.
Dressing. Gotta be the dressing, y'all.
Gobble, gobble dressing.
Give me that giblet gravy.
Gobble, gobble, gobble.
Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Sweat, work, filthy, dirt, harvest, hurt, kingdom come. Listen, that's why I sweat when I work. My hands get filthy down in this dirt. Won't see no harvest till I hurt. Crying your kingdom come. Listen, I wake up in the morning, I bow my head to pray. Mama told me if I don't, ain't nothing gonna change. These prayers breaking up hard ground so I can sow the seed. Ain't afraid of no aches and pain, Lord.